Yeah. What's good? What's going on? Shout out to everybody, man, that subscribe to the channel. Big salute to y'all. I appreciate all the love, man. We got to get into this boxing, man. Got to get into this boxing. It's a lot of boxing we got to talk about on the channel, man. But one in particular, man, big announcement that took place. We finally had this fight, man. I've been waiting for this fight for a while now, man. For a while now. We got Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrance Crawford finally going down, man. July 29th. Oh, man. It's going to be a movie going down, I believe, in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the T-Mobile Arena. Man, I'm looking at tickets right now. I'm not even going to hold you. I'm looking at tickets right now, man. I talked to a couple of the homies. They procrastinating. I'm telling you, I'm going to just book that flight, book that ticket. I'm out of here, man. I haven't been to a live fight in a while. I think the last live fight I went to was in Brooklyn at the Barclays, and it was who was it? It was AB. It was AB. I forgot who AB fought, but AB got his ass whooped. He lost by decision, and I lost like $100 on that fight betting on AB. But that's a whole nother story. We ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, man, like we finally getting this fight, man. This is a highly anticipated matchup here. This is for the undisputed welterweight championship. Both of these guys are champions. Both of these guys are undefeated. Crawford has had more of, I would say, more fights. He's a little bit more older than Errol Spence. When it comes to the height, I believe Spence maybe might have a couple of inches over him, but I do believe Crawford does have a longer reach. They're both southpaw fighters, so this is going to be really interesting. A lot of times when a southpaw is going against somebody that's a righty, they kind of have a harder time trying to hit the opponent. So when you got two southpaws going against each other, it's going to be a very interesting way of how the fight will go. Like I said, man, they both undefeated. I had so many conversations with people about this fight, man. So it's multiple ways you can look at this shit, right? You look at Errol Spence, right? Errol Spence, you know, he's kind of been quiet. He hasn't really fought. You know, he's fresh off that terrible car accident that he had, life-threatening. You know, by the grace of God, you know, he got out of that untouched. Not to the point where, you know, he was paralyzed or anything of that nature. You know, he was able to see another day. And, you know, I've seen videos of him. He looks good. You know, he looks stronger. He looks in shape. He seems a lot focused. You know, I think he's taken his craft a lot more serious. And he could have took a couple of fights before this actual fight. And he was like, no, I want Crawford. That's the fight that I want. I'm not fighting until I get him. And I think this fight was locked. It was almost locked in, I want to say sometime last year. And then something fell through. It didn't happen. And then Crawford announced that he was fighting, who was he fighting? He fought somebody on a private network, some new network, some black network or something like that. I think it was David. He fought David. But you know, that was an easy dub for him. But I say this, right? For me personally, I'm going with Errol Spence, right? And one of the reasons why, right? Okay, so like I seen a couple of fights. Like one of the main fights that I seen from Terrance Crawford was a Sean Porter fight. I thought in the early stages of the Sean Porter fight, I thought that Sean was doing a really good job as far as staying on him. You know, Terrance was really capitalizing with the jab, but I like how Sean Porter was staying on, you know, Crawford as far as what attacking him. You know, not giving him too much distance. Like I said, you know, Crawford has the longer reach, so he was able to capitalize and not give him so much space closing on the distance, so the jab wouldn't be as effective. But as it got later in the rounds, I don't know if it was a sign of fatigue from Porter, but he was getting tagged a lot. You know, he was starting to get a little sloppy. His balance was starting to be off. you know, and it kind of led to, you know, his corner pretty much throwing in the towel, stopping the fight. I mean, he got knocked down twice, and it really, when he got knocked down, it wasn't really like a hard hit. It was kind of like, you know, he got hit in the mid chest with a body shot. I believe that was like the first knockdown, and then the second knockdown was like a fury of combinations that kind of just, you know, took him down, and he was like frustrated. He wasn't like knocked out. He was just like, damn, fuck, I got hit. He was mad. And his corner, his dad, pretty much was like, yo, I'm stopping the fight. That's it. I thought he could have kept going. I didn't think he was getting hit to the point where it was like damaging. You know, I think it was just a matter of he had to get over that second win. But, you know, they stopped the fight. You know, Crawford got the TKO. But, you know, as I look, and I'm not gonna hold you, I had to go back and really look at some of the fighters. I'm like, yo, who has Terrance Crawford really fought? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he had the David fight. You know what I'm saying? He fought Amir Khan. I think I remember the Amir Khan fight. I believe he dominated in that fight there. He really dominated. You know, he knocked him down in the first round. You know, he fought Jose Jr., Jeff Horn, Felix. You know, he got a lot of fights, man. But a lot of these guys, I'm not gonna hold you, I'm not super familiar with. You know, and I know, like I said, when it comes to Crawford, he's more so an older fighter than Terrance, might be like a couple years, and he's a lot more experienced. Now, when you go to Errol Spence Jr., I think, see, the thing is too, I think, and the reason why I feel like I don't know so much as far as the competition that Crawford has faced, I don't believe he has a promotional company. He's not signed to a promotional company. When it comes to Errol Spence, I believe he is signed to a promotional company. So when a lot of his fights take place, they get the big backing, they get the big push. It's marketed the right way. You know, he's getting the right fights to really add to his name and really make him a household name. So I feel like and I believe even now, I don't think Crawford is signed to a promotional team. I think he's independent. But when you look at somebody like Errol Spence Jr., you know, I remember the David Garcia fight, how crazy and how anticipated that was. The Mikey Garcia fight, the Sean Porter fight, the Lamont Peterson fight. Like, those are big battles. You know what I'm saying? And those fights, man, you know, he dominated, and it's like, yo, he's like undisputed, man. Like, he's fighting the big names and he's getting through them. So for me, it's like, for me, I would say like Errol Spence is more battle tested, but then I can't really say that because I'm not really educated enough to know the type of fighters that Terrance Crawford has faced. Now, I have watched a couple fights of him. I do like the way he fights, and I've seen a little bit of his style. For me, they're both sluggish. You know, they both love to just go at it. You know, they're not really defensive fighters. When it comes to power, though, I do think Errol Spence is more of a stronger hitter than Crawford. Like I said, it took like those later rounds, and there was other fighters that he's knocked down in earlier rounds. But I feel like somebody of like a Errol Spence, I do think you're not gonna just easily be able to knock him the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna do that super early in the fight. I do see this being a brawl. Like, I do see this going the distance, but I do think somebody's gonna win by a knockout. This is not gonna go 12 rounds. I think maybe 9-10 rounds. You know, I think somebody is either gonna get caught with a mean shot, or it's gonna really take toll on the body. You know, and my mind tells me it's really gonna be on the body. I think whoever really gets clean punches, especially to the body, I think that's gonna do the most effect later, for like the later rounds, to get caught with an open shot, as far as maybe a hook or a cross to the head. And I think that'll really seal the deal with a knockout for this fight. But I do think it's gonna go like 9-10 rounds. I got Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying, winning this fight. I do think like this is gonna be one of those trilogy fights. Like, you're going to get a rematch. You're going to get at least 3. We're going to get at least 3 of these. I think I would have loved that with the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather if they would have fought earlier. But I do think this here is going to be a trilogy. I think this is going to be big box office. They're going to make so much money. I think the second fight, they're going to make even more money, especially if it goes 12 rounds. If this goes 12 rounds, the rematch is going to be crazy. These guys are going to be able to retire from boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly feel that way, man. But big shout out to Errol Spence, shout out to Crawford. I'm glad that they were able to come together with the negotiations and lock this fight in. Like I said, it's going down July 29th in Las Vegas. I'm trying to be in the building. Like I said, I'm looking for tickets right now. I don't think they hit Ticketmaster. I see them on I see the tickets on StubHub. I'm not really trusting that source. I'm waiting for him to go live on Ticketmaster. Let me know in the comment section, man. Shout out to all my analysts out there, my boxing analysts. I talked to a couple guys on YouTube, man, just schooling me, teaching me about certain things, what to look for, and the point system too, when they're scoring these fights. I'm really trying to educate myself and learn more, especially when I go back and look at certain fights. And really get a clear understanding of why they're scoring the fights the way that they score them. I think a lot of us get gassed by the excitement, and when certain fights take place in certain rounds where a guy may be dominating and the crowd is going crazy, we may look at that as a misconception of like, yo, he's winning the fight. But no, in actuality, he may be throwing more punches, but are the punches landing and are they connecting? The other opponent may be throwing less punches, but they may be more effective and they may be more connecting. And maybe that's why he's scoring more on the point system. So I'm really trying to, school and learn more myself on that end. So when I do these recaps and these predictions, I can be a lot more educated and be a lot more assertive, with my predictions and with my opinions on the fights, man. But big shout out to the whole boxing world, man. I can't wait for this fight, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, the comment section, let me know, man, who do you guys got winning this fight? What rounds and why do you think they're going to win? Do you agree that this is going to be a trilogy? Let me know, man. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the love. Yo, follow me on all social media platforms at Ace is Working on Twitter and Instagram. All right, it's your boy. I'm out of here. Peace.